Metro Atlanta highways are proving to be a dangerous place. 5 people died on the interstate, 4 of them here in Atlanta. Most of the victims weren't even in a car when they were killed. Early Sunday morning, 23-year-old Jacqueline Vasquez was hit and killed after getting out of her disabled car on Interstate 75 North near Cleveland Avenue. About 90 minutes earlier, on the northbound connector near University Avenue, a man was killed running into traffic. Saturday morning, police say 26-year-old Michaela Kemp was killed after a fight spilled out onto Interstate 85 South near Georgia 400. 2 other people died this weekend, one in a single car crash that caught fire on Interstate 20. Now, all of this comes as Georgia's kicking off a multi-state DUI enforcement campaign, which leads up to Labor Day weekend.
So we're talking about hands across the border. It started in 1991 as friendly competitions between state troopers in Georgia and Florida. The whole goal here is to see which agency could reduce the number of drunk driving crash deaths in their states. Since then, several other states have joined this week-long initiative, and data from Labor Day weekend over the past 5 years shows that 65% of deadly drunk driving crashes in Georgia involved a driver whose blood alcohol level was twice the legal limit.